Hello and welcome into episode 107, Two-Man Game with Damon and Dom. I'm Damon, that's Dom, and you are the listener. It is Thursday, March 19th, 2026, about 9 p.m. my time, 7 p.m. Dom time. And we are here, and the NBA season has less than a month, only three-ish, 3.5-ish weeks away, 10, 15 games or so for most teams. And we are getting down the stretch. The main topic of today will be what do we think the standings are going to look like once we do get to that stretch, once the playoffs start. We really wanted to do awards, but at this point in time, there are just so many players that are questionable at that 65 game rule that I think it's probably best if we just wait to see who is actually going to qualify for these awards and all NBA teams before we talk about them. So instead, let's talk about the teams themselves and what it's going to look like once things are said and done. Before we do any of that, like, comment, subscribe, leave 5 stars, share with everyone, and let's hear about our good friend Dom. Dom, how are you doing this Thursday evening?
Heyo, it's me, Dom, just wearing my misprint Toronto Raptors shirt that I bought online that I have since gotten a refund for and is now free. Um, I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We got a little win streak going for the Lakers, so a little hype about that. And it has been a little less busy with work and a lot of events and fun things going on. Usually every night I'm having a good time going to shows and seeing friends. So doing all good. There is a heat wave happening right now, and I have been trying to play basketball and I've not been able to play. But hope everyone is just staying cool out there in the Southern California sun. Um, and yeah, I was gonna go to a Clippers game, but I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. I don't think I think I'm good. I think I'm okay with. I think I'm kind of done with the Clippers right now. But that's not all. How are you doing, Damon?
I'm doing all right, doing all right. We talked a little bit before the podcast. Been playing a lot of disc golf with 22-man game co-host Jared, as well as some mutual friends of ours, X and Gabe. That's been a lot of fun. Took my first loss yesterday because when we started playing, I had by far the most experience. So they have caught up and learned a lot because we have played a lot in like the past month. And now I'm tilted. I got to get out there. I got to get back out there and practice. I lost by 1 stroke, so you think back to all the bonehead mistakes when in a thing like that. It's like, oh, remember when I threw that shot? Oh, that was terrible. That would have been, a different stroke right there. Yes.
What do I do if y'all tie?
So I think you can tie. I think this hasn't happened between us yet, but I think my I the thing that comes to my mind that maybe I did a long time ago when I used to play is like you have like a 1 hole shoot off
Yeah,
and you just play like the first hole or something and whoever does better wins, that kind of thing.
yeah. That's sounds about right.
You gotta show us the shirt. It's misprinted, but I
Okay.
do want to see it. I think it's worth seeing if people are not driving or whatever,
It should
because it
be
is a
about
it's a very cool idea.
yeah. It should be like over here.
Yeah,
It's almost like 2 inches off, like an inch and a
yeah.
half. Yeah. I was like, maybe I'm wearing it weird, but like, no, this looks bad.
But
This
to
looks
to paint a picture for the audio listeners, it is very off center, but it is very cool. Old school Toronto Raptor, big and red and very realistic in the Raptors jersey, standing on top of Scotiabank Arena, which is where they play.
It says the
Um,
North. Kind of
and it
cool.
says the North on the bottom, says Toronto on top. It's just the whole thing is shifted to the right or our left from the viewer's perspective a couple inches and is totally not center. But a
Um,
cool idea nonetheless.
yeah, and don't worry, I will be wearing it. I will be wearing it out and about because you know what? It's actually really comfortable. So it's very upsetting that
Yeah.
it is misprinted so poorly. But you know what? Now it's a conversation starter.
So it's
People
a
are gonna be
nice
like,
shirt.
"Yo,
I like it.
why are you wearing that messed up shirt?" And I'm like, let me tell you why. Let's talk about it. Let me tell you why.
Let me tell
Hey,
you a
I'm Dom.
story.
Let's talk about it. I'm
There
here. Let's talk about it.
you go.
We got a couple other things to talk about. We got some news
Sure.
things before we get into seating. Shall we commence?
Let's talk about some news, starting with the WNBA. We had a situation last year in which it seemed like a CBA was not going to be agreed upon between the players and The leadership, there was a lot of kind of protesting and a lot of conversation about this, but an agreement has happened. So, WNBA new CBA that will take place in this upcoming WNBA season. New salary cap for each team is going to be at $7 million. It was $1.5 million last season, so that's obviously a huge increase. Supermax contract players for the Supermax contract for players, the All-Star players, players like Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, Brianna Stewart, etc. It's going to look at about 1.4 million, which is basically what the salary cap used to be. Last year that was 250,000, so that's obviously a big pay bump. The average salary range will be about 600,000 per player. Last year that was about 120,000. The minimum salary was now going to be 300,000. So the minimum salary is way up from the average salary. Last year, last year that salary was 60K minimum. So now they're making 300K minimum, so 5 times increase. And then lastly, the revenue share, which was a big debate because I think in the NBA it's pretty close to like 50-50 between ownership and or not fans and players for revenue. It's not 50-50, but it was 9% last year for WNBA players. So that's now up to 20%. So WNBA players will get 20% of the revenue shares. So double. So that was a lot of numbers, but basically the players are making a lot more money. That kind of is what it boils down to, which was what the whole dispute was about, anyways.
Yeah, I think the most important number is that the minimum has gone up because $60,000 is, I mean, that's almost like a minimum wage job, basically, and you probably can't even just live off of that. So I'm
Yeah,
glad it's
maybe in
gone up.
California, you wish it was a minimum wage job here in Texas.
Oh yeah, I mean, oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Sorry, sorry. Yeah, I should. You're right. My worldview is skewed because I live in an expensive state. But yeah, 60,000. Also, yeah, 60,000 salary in Indiana versus 60,000 in California is vastly different for sure.
Right.
So yeah, it's good to see. Good to see. This is one of the situations where, it's not perfect, but things have progressed. And I'm sure
Hmm.
as costs rise and a lot of different external factors, they will continue to go up as everything kind of does. Same with the NBA. Cap always goes up. We
Yes,
got
sir.
some we got some NBA news. Got some NBA news we got to talk about. We got some really important stuff actually. So on March 24th, 25th, the NBA's Board of Governors will vote on adding expansion teams in Las Vegas and Seattle for the 2028-2029 season. I am ecstatic. That means more teams to play basketball, more players to be able to play the game of basketball. Seattle gets a team back. I don't know what has to happen. They have to be the Supersonics.
Right.
I don't know what we have to do as people and fans or whatever, but they have to be the Supersonics. We'll see. It cannot just be like the Seattle Flash or Seattle, just something that it means nothing. It's got to be the Supersonics. And I also
For
want Vegas
sure.
to have a good mascot too. What besides the fact, what do you think it's going to pass? What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. This is the first time in, let's call it the social media era, that something like this has happened. Because the last expansion was back when we were really, really young. And obviously, I just imagine, when Shams and other reporters report that like this vote is going to take place, it feels like this vote's going to go through. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't going to go through, it just feels like something not super worth reporting. But from what I understand from the little bit I read, basically this has to go through for them to kind of start looking around and purchasing things, stadiums, getting things built, et cetera, et cetera. So this is kind of the very first like official step because it's been discussed and discussed and discussed, but I believe it was 23 out of the current 30 NBA governors, which are like the owners, have to approve it. So at least 23 teams have to approve of adding 2 additional teams to the league.
That's a quite a big majority. That's more than like
Hmm.
2/3, which is like a lot of votes. So, also this is also important to note that if the expansion team goes through, it is Vegas, Seattle, then two teams will move from the west to the east to make it more even, and that's probably going to be either Memphis or uh,
Memphis has to be one of them.
Minneapolis. I think
Memphis is
was the
just
other one
in the
mentioned.
East.
Yeah, no, Memphis is so east.
I think Memphis is guaranteed, and then the other one's between like the Timberwolves are like the Pelicans.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Kind of like the idea of the Timberwolves because it kind of will create a bit more parity than in the East. But the teams always shift, so it doesn't really matter. I guess right now
Yeah.
you don't know who's going to be good or anything like that. But um, so yeah, that's happening, and like you said, I think it's going to go through too. It's just been talked about so much the last few years. So
Yeah. Wouldn't be next season or even the season after that. So this is 3 seasons down the line, but
yeah,
an exciting thought nonetheless. Let's talk about the big, big, big item that happens basically right after our last pod. This happened like a day or two after, and then we couldn't get together until now to talk about it. So March 10th, paint a picture. A Southeast Division clash between the Miami Heat and the whatever the Wizards are. Bam Adebayo scores 83. That's the huge headline, right? Second most all time, passing Kobe Bryant, who is now third on the list. Bam at second on the list, and of course Wilt's 100 at the top. And then he checks out of the game after he scores 83. There's like a minute left. Dom, before we really break it down, before we really talk about it, I just want to hear your initial reactions because I assume you were not actively watching Heat Wizards, despite maybe getting an alert on your phone and the ESPN app or the NBA app, like Bam has 60. It's like, what the heck's going on? Still not tuning in to Heat Wizards. So when you learn of the 83, the Kobe record being broken, as a Kobe fan, you got the Kobe light behind you on the wall. You got you're a Lakers fan, obviously. So this is like, I don't know if I had to rank your all-time favorite players. Maybe it's number one. Like it's, I wouldn't go past like two or three without being
yeah.
thinking I'm being absurd. So, when you saw this, how did you feel? What did you go through with this?
I went through a roller coaster of
Hmm.
emotion. But before I really go into like how I just want to say congratulations, man, because that's insane. 83 points is insane. So congrats. Next, first, okay, so the first thought that went through my head, disbelief. No way.
Hmm.
Absolutely not. 83. I literally went to the box score on in the NBA. I was like, I gotta like read all the stats and like see everything because I do not believe 83 points. Like that sounds unattainable. It's crazy. I heard nothing about it until I got like three DMs from friends of mine that knows I'm a Lakers fan, and they're like, "No way, Bam did that." I'm like, "What are they talking about?"
Hmm.
So yeah, I looked it up. So it's disbelief, and then watching highlights and just watching how we got to it. Did you watch highlights or anything like how we got? Yeah. So
For sure.
yeah, at a certain point, like they're just fouling him, and he's just going to the free throw line like so many times. And so my initial reaction was like, I can't believe this happened. And now it's like in my head, I'm just like Wilt, Bam, Kobe. One is not like the others in my head. But I think this is just like this is almost feels like it's jump starting a new era of basketball where it can be anyone's night to score so many points. Like we've had the random Malachi Flynn 50 point game or something like on the Pistons whatever ago. Like I
Hmm.
think this is the age of scorings. I mean, we have NBA games 160 to 158 in regulation, which if you would have told me that like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, especially, I would like not believe you unless it was overtime. So, um, it just makes me think what's possible now. Like, how attainable is 83? It seems unattainable. We've had a lot of 70s. We had Damian Lillard, we had a Luka, Donovan Mitchell, 70, 71 points. Um,
Embiid.
Embiid, Cat got close one time and they
Hmm.
lost that game, I remember. So it's
Yep.
like it's like
Yeah.
65 and lost. So, I think this is it jumpstarts a conversation about scoring and what it means to score. And then like, I was reading a lot about after like does it count? Does it count? And if the answer is of course it counts. Obviously, it's a regular season game. Just because the Wizards aren't trying to win and they're like the second worst team in the East doesn't mean it doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like it's still an NBA game. You made it to this level. And like
Hmm.
shout out to the Heat teammates just giving the ball to Bam and like Norman Powell was out, Tyler Hero was out. Does this game happen without them on the with them on the court? I don't know. So, it it doesn't feel real.
Yeah,
just because, this is one of those records you never thought would be broken. Or if it was, it would be like a Shea or a
sure.
Luka or just those guys that's like they put their head down and score. Bam, great player. Has he ever averaged 30 or flirted with averaging 30 a season? No. So it's like, why would I expect him to get 83? So congrats to him. I mean, crazy, crazy. What was your reaction? That's mine. I just didn't believe it at first. And I had to like just witness it firsthand, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if you gave me 100 guesses who was gonna, in this modern day 2025, 2026 NBA season, gonna break Kobe Bryant's 81 points for the second most all time. I don't think I would have picked Bam. I think I would have picked two people on his own team before I picked him, at least Norman Powell and Tyler Hero, and then after that, it's like maybe I would have went Wiggins or something. There's a lot of directions that I would have felt. So it was definitely some disbelief too in that regard, and being the player to do it. I was like, what on earth? And it wasn't, until later that night or maybe the next morning when I kind of looked into see what happened in this game. Which I think kind of brings us to a point, right? You mentioned people saying like, does it count? On this podcast, I would say ethical or unethical 83 point game. So we got to go over the details in order to really figure that out. Because I think the gut check reaction for most people, especially casual viewers, is unethical, right? When they look at it and they see the stats or they look at some of the highlights, it's like, oh, this guy was totally chasing for it. Yes and no. So let me read the stats because we haven't done that. 83 points, 20-43 from the field, so less than 50% from the field. Um, 7 of 22 from three. For Bam Adebayo, that's pretty good. But a sub 30%, sub 33%, I should say. 36 from 43 from the free throw line, which was a big story for people. 43 free throws. Holy moly. So, what can I say about the game? Let's talk about the game. Bam scored 31 points in the first quarter, and it was a very legitimate 31 points. And a story throughout this game that I think is not really being told is that the Wizards are terrible and played terrible, abysmal defense. He was getting shots for free, just getting buckets in the post. Alex Sarr, okay, I'll spin around you, layup, like over and over and over and over. Which, if you're trying to win a basketball game, yeah, that's what you do. You take the easy points, and they happen to be giving it to him, and he happened to be taking advantage of it. Now, that's the first quarter. I think that's totally legitimate. I think he finished the half with about 42, 43. So he cooled off for sure. And then it kind of turned into a whole debacle in the second half. We started getting what we call cherry picking, which is when he wasn't really playing defense, and whenever the Heat got the rebound, he leaked out in transition to get that kind of transition layup. Now, that's the thing that happens in pickup basketball if you're playing full court. It's the defender's job to stop it from happening, and they just weren't stopping it. Just kept getting free layups, free dunks. So yeah, keep taking them. Now, if you look at the free throws for the first three quarters, which is when he took most of them, they were all pretty legitimate fouls because the Wizards were playing such bad defense. He was just getting fouled by Alex Sarr, by other people that were trying to rotate to guard him because they were just playing such bad defense. They were constantly out of position, trying to rush back into a play, trying to make a last second contest, and fouling him. And then he's shooting the free throws. So up until the fourth quarter, I would say ethical. And then we kind of get into this insane thing where the Heat are fouling the Wizards so they can get the ball back so they can give it to Bam. We have the Heat. There's this one that's just crazy. Kashad Johnson, I believe, dunk contest winner, does the throw the ball at the rim intentional missed free throw to give it to Bam so he can try to score. That's when we really lost the plot, I think, and the unethical arguments can kind of flood in. Because up until that point, take advantage of a team playing subpar defense, take free throws, take easy layups and dunks. That's what you're supposed to do in NBA games. But when we start fouling when we're up, 15 with 3 minutes left in the fourth, the other team intentionally so you can get the ball back, um, just so you could barely get above that 81 point threshold. That's when it becomes a question mark for sure. But I do think that a lot of people have really downplayed this, and I think three-quarters of it was like a real achievement of just taking advantage of a team not playing good basketball, which is what you would tell any of your players to do on any given night. And then, once you sniff that 81, then theatrics kind of came into play there. That's kind of my take on it.
Here's my question. I think I totally agree with everything you've said. My question is this. I remember um I think it was when Luca got 71 against the Hawks like 2 years ago. They like come someone asked him like you're pretty close to 81. What were your thoughts? And he said something like, you know, if I got we were winning, if I got close, I probably would have stopped as like a sign of respect. Do you think it was disrespectful to break Kobe's record?
I see. I mean, Kobe's passing, very tragic. I think that just because of who he is and like the icon he is, and the basketball legend he is, and like in terms of players that garner, universal NBA respect, it's probably like Michael Jordan, and then Kobe is like right below him. Um, that being said, I don't think it automatically means no one should even attempt to break his record. I don't think it means you should stop at 80 because you're like if you're playing and you're winning the basketball game and you're up by 15, yeah, I mean, you don't need to, but like if it's a different scenario, if it's a 2 point game and you're the guy with the ball in your hands, yeah, you should try to score. I would say like the way it was broken kind of seems a little disrespectful with the theatrics in the fourth quarter, but I wouldn't say it as like a blanket statement that no one should try to break it.
Yeah. See, that's so one of my first because I'm such a big Kobe fan. Like I was also kind of like that's like messed up because I saw the box score and like this, and I was like they didn't need to do that. Like they were gonna
Mm.
win the game for sure.
Yeah,
Um, but then I thought about it more and I realized like this it is like it's a little it's ignorant and it's not fair to players who are that great to try to pass him like just because of the it should not be remembered. Kobe shouldn't be remembered for the way he passed, should be remembered for like the game he played. So just
hmm
because, if Kobe retired and he's still alive and he would be congratulating Bam. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like for sure. You know what I mean? Like he would go on Twitter and say like Bam, like great job, like happy to see you like next to me. So like that made me realize I feel like that could come up that it was like a disrespectful way to do it. But, I think it's just like you said, because of the circumstances around his passing, which almost is a disrespectful to him. It's also disrespectful to Bam. So it's like just take it as it is. He is second now. It just is. Now here's the
yeah.
question: how long is he going to be second? Because
Oh
I'm like,
yeah, it's a good question. I do wonder, with the theatrics I mentioned in the fourth quarter, which, I'm not an NBA player. I've never been on a basketball court with 75 points, so close to such a historic record. Um, that probably does make you think like, oh, I need to really go for this. Like I need to, when will I ever be in this position again where I have this many points? Um, I wonder with the way it was broken in the reaction if people are going to be more like if there's situations where Luca, for example, has 70 points and there's let's say 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Does it ramp up? Is it like okay, now we got to try to go for it, or because of the way Bam broke it, are they like no, that was kind of silly. Let's not do that. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. I definitely think that it's not an excuse to do the theatrics like you said, but I agree with you. If I'm on a court, I'm at like 78, I can do it. I'm like it's tempting. It's so tempting. So
hmm
and especially if your team is on with you, like if they're like, yo, let's do
Oh,
it.
they were so with him.
Yeah, and like so that's what makes it a little bit better too. Because if it just was obviously like such a selfish way to play, then but it really was like it's a team effort, dare I
Yeah.
say it. Yeah, anyways, so yeah, I mean, I just I don't think it's gonna be safe. I think now
Yeah.
it's like opened the floodgates of like, oh,
hmm
Oh, you got 83? Bet. It's like, let me show you what I could do. Like I
Famously
just,
brought his points per game up to 20 for the season,
yeah,
which was funny. That was funny. That was good.
I saw a stat. We Luca was the player of the week for the West, and then Bam was player for the East. And Luca's, is like 33 points per game almost right now, and Bam's is like 32 because of that 83-point game. And it's like, isn't it crazy that Luca's still average higher, even though this guy
Yeah,
scored 83 points?
just
So
normal. Just normal
yeah, it's
Luca
just like
business.
craziness, man.
I was clowning on Luca last time for the defense, the lack thereof defense, and the referee antics, but he's been really putting on a clinic for you guys, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Oh yeah, it's in the notes.
It's in
Talking
the
about
notes.
talking about someone else who's putting on clinics. Tell
Hmm.
you. On March 12th, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander passed Wilt Chamberlain for most consecutive games with 20 plus points in NBA history, setting a new record of 127 consecutive games, now probably like 128, 129. And the record was previously 126, set by Wilt in 1963.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. This feels like I mean, 127 is less than 2 seasons. Which like is a lot, obviously, but it feels like something that a Michael Jordan or a LeBron or a Kobe or someone of that caliber just would have done at some point. But I guess there's an 18-point game here and there that
Yeah,
kind of dips your production, or you check out early with injury or something like that.
yeah.
So an impressive feat of consistency for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of those records too, like even though it's old, I'm like that's a record I could see getting broken too because of people
Hmm.
like you mentioned, like it could be like an Anthony Edwards or a Luca or we got so many scorers now in the league. Like I don't think that one is also very safe, but um yeah, just crazy.
Yeah, lots of scoring going on in the old modern NBA.
It's interesting. It makes it interesting. So
Well, let's look at some injuries, shall we?
let's
You
do
put this
it.
note in here, so tell me.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about the Pelicans, Zion Williamson. So he reached a contract milestone for playing 51 games, which that's a
Let's
contract
go.
milestone. 51 games out of 82.
We
Uh,
take those.
so Zion's guaranteed salary next season it increased from 16.9 million to 25.3. So about like 9 million. Prior to the start of the season, his $42.2 million salary for next year had $0 protection.
Mm,
So it was like super important that he was healthy enough to play these games. And now he's eligible to receive an additional 8.4 in guaranteed salary if he plays 61 games. So it's kind of crazy that I didn't realize teams can kind of put this in your contract. Like,
hmm
if you're healthy, you get paid more. But I guess with him, it's just because of the history. Kind of, I see
Yeah, I feel like I remember like some mention of this when he signed the extension because it was not fully guaranteed because most NBA contracts are fully guaranteed. But there are partial guarantees that you can do based on things like games played. So, shout out to Zion for being out there
playing.
on this bad team.
Shout out for playing, man. Sick.
Let's go. Uh, um, another guy that has finally played, Max Strus, suiting up for the Cavaliers the first time this season on March 15th, which I think is important mostly because I feel like I remember when we talked about this at the beginning of the season, he had this like random injury and it was like, oh, he's gonna be out for like a month. And then it's been 5 months. So great to see him back. And the Cavs have looked, pretty good since the acquisition of James Harden. So we can see if Max Strus, he was kind of their fifth starter. I don't know if that will still be the case as he's kind of reacclimating the lineup right now, but definitely going to be an important part of their playoff rotation for sure.
Absolutely. They need those wings because they got hella small guards again. So
Yeah, Max Strus is like 6'4" too, so he's like not even really a wing, but he
he just
pretends.
plays. Yeah, he pretends. But yeah, welcome back, Max Strus. And then on March 10th, Tyrese Maxey was diagnosed with a tendon injury in his right pinky finger, which is going to keep him out for at least 3 weeks. Uh, Tough for the Sixers because there's a lot of teams right now kind of vying for this play-in, maybe flirting with getting into the top six, and Definitely would have helped them a little bit if he was healthy for this, but I think it's safe to say they'll probably at least get in the play-in. But you always want to get higher seeds. So get well
Yeah.
soon, Tyrese.
They slid for sure. Another team that's been sliding all season, Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks on March 17th. He was diagnosed with a left knee hyperextension and bone bruise, so another kind of pair of minor injuries which have seemed to plague him all season. He's going to be out at least a week. There's been also reports that once healthy, he wants to come back to play, but the Bucks have kind of told him they want to shut him down for the remainder of the season because they are out of the play-in at the moment, and there really is no realistic way for them to get back in. But he says if he's healthy, he wants to play. So I imagine he probably will. I imagine he'll get his word. I think they're probably thinking about this offseason. There's going to be another big Giannis trade discussion, and they want him to be 100% if they do decide to go that route.
Just want to say, awesome, Giannis. That's awesome. If you're healthy, you should play no matter what. So that's sick. Yeah, right now there's 7 games behind the 10th seed, and there's every team has like 13, 14-ish games. So
Right.
very tough to make that even without him. So probably won't make the postseason. But hopefully he plays and is healthy. One more. Actually, we got 2 more injuries to talk about. But March 17th, my boy, my man, my dude, Anthony
Hmm.
Edwards was diagnosed with right knee inflammation, which will keep him out 1 to 2 weeks. Again, super important. Now we're going to talk about seeding soon, but Timberwolves are in this weird amalgamation of like
Yeah.
3 through like seventh seed, and you definitely want to like they would kind of want to stay in the 3 seed. That way, you're not gonna, or actually, they're not the third seed anymore. But want to fight for that 3 seed. But without Anthony Edwards, it's tough. Julius Randle had a really good game yesterday, or the day before, which against a good team. I don't remember who, but it's gonna be tough for them. And just get well soon. Come back sooner than later.
Yep, they will definitely need him for the postseason. Last kind of major injury here. This was actually announced today. Cade Cunningham was diagnosed with a collapsed lung, which is going to keep him out for an extended time. Obviously, not as simple as a fracture or something that you know it's going to heal over a certain time. I remember, I believe it was CJ McCollum had a lung issue a couple of seasons ago that kept him out for a while. And we are, like I said earlier, less than a month away from the postseason. Pistons have had a great season, so hopefully he can recover and be ready for them in the playoffs, and also just be ready for himself in his normal life because lungs are important for breathing and such. So he
And running,
definitely,
literally.
yeah. So hope he gets well soon for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That was tough. I actually heard that randomly on the radio today. I went out having
Mm,
computer troubles, so I went and got my computer looked at. I was talking to Damon earlier. It's kind of screwed. Whatever. Got in my car. I was like, I'm not even gonna pull out my phone to drive home. I'm gonna turn on the radio and listen to like sports.
wow.
Like I don't. I'm so like just in my head, turn it on, and they're like, "Yeah, Cade Cunningham collapsed lung, like he's gonna be out. Like this is kind of hard, tough for the Pistons." And they're talking about like that 60, like is he gonna make an All NBA team? Like if he's like at
Hmm.
62 games, technically doesn't qualify. And
Right.
that was just kind of crazy that coincidence that I also heard that on the radio of all places.
The
So
radio. I
still
can't tell you the
alive.
last time I listened to a radio.
I kind of
Um,
dig it. I dig it. But you know what? I dig more talking about our teams. That's why I dig more.
our team. It's time for this week's edition of Homer's Highlights, sponsored
Homer,
by
Homer,
you.
you, the listener, we love you. We're in love with you. Thank you.
If you would like to sponsor it, please reach out. Um, so the Rockets, that's my team. We are currently 41-27, fifth in the West, I believe 2-3 since the last time we podcasted. We beat the Raptors in a pretty good, solid game, and then we barely beat the Pelicans, which is never a good sign. And we got absolutely blown out by the Nuggets, and we lost our last 2 games, both to your Los Angeles Lakers. So kind of a theme I've been talking about with our team all season is the offense and kind of lack of offensive. I was going to say offensive productivity, but that doesn't sound correct. But you get it. Lack
Oh,
of
that's
offense
yeah.
that we've struggled from. And today I brought some stats to help in this 5 game stretch. In this 5 game stretch that I just talked about, our offensive rating is 110.8, which would be 25th if I compared it to the season long offensive ratings. Only better than that of the Kings, Mavericks, Wizards, Pacers, and Nets. So aside from those teams, our offense is the bottom of the barrel over the last 5 games. We are shooting in that span 47% from the field, 28% from three, 16 turnovers a game, which is a lot of turnovers a game. So just not taking care of the ball, just not scoring efficiently. And, I don't want to talk about it too much because I feel like every time we talk about the Rockets, I see the same thing. But basically, our offense is not good enough. We don't have enough playmaking, very ISO heavy. And yeah, it just hasn't been enough in these games. And we scored under 100 in 2 of those games that I just talked about. I think we only scored over 110 once in those 5 games. So yeah, for
I
the modern NBA,
also,
it's not good.
yeah, no, that's when I saw the score of the last Lakers game, it was like 100-92. I was like, that's rough. It's not good. I also saw that Clint Capella started for y'all, and I was
I
like,
don't.
ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
Steven Adams is out all season, so if we got to give Şengün a day of rest, we don't really have another option at
yeah,
center.
exactly.
So
I was like, oh, so that's probably a big reason why we're able to, I
um,
mean, DeAndre is not great, but anyways, um, yeah, definitely noted when I was watching these games, could see what you've been talking about like the last few pods. So the stats back it up. I guess let's talk about the Lake. If we're gonna talk about like the Lakers, I guess
I
we could
guess we'll
talk
talk
about
about
the
the
Lakers.
Lakers. Fine.
The Lakers are 44 and 25, third in the West right now. And let me just double check because they're playing a game. They beat the Heat, thankfully, so they're now 45 and 25. Uh, Very nice. Good job, guys. And don't worry, still third in the West because are we gonna catch up to the Spurs? 7 games behind? I don't think so, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, Lakers are currently now on an 8 game winning streak. Let me just
hmm
change this. Yeah, I gotta change this. Hell
hmm
yeah.
hmm
We
hmm
did win. I think one of the most impressive win that we had throughout the streak was against the Nuggets. We won an overtime game against the Nuggets. We always have a lot of trouble against them.
hmm
It did go to overtime. Austin Reeves was able to bounce off his second free throw and get a shot in to get it to overtime, and then Luca did like a Jamal Murray like playoffs dagger. So that
Mm.
was it was good to kind of see it on the other side, be on the other side of that, which felt nice.
Yeah.
Winning buzzer beater shot. Actually, I think there was zero point 0.5 seconds left, but game winner for sure. Um, and we did beat the Rockets twice, who are still a very, very good team. And at points in this game, the Rockets were winning. Like it was not blowouts by any means, but just in the fourth, the Lakers were able to close it out. Just be able to lock in on defense. Marcus Smart, want to shout him out. He's been in the starting lineup, and he has been just incredible getting people just to lock in on defense and doing the hustle plays, everything not in the box scores. So shout out to him.
hmm
It's
hmm
been really cool to see. And then there's something on a personal note that I've been seeing a lot of recently now. So like it's a Luka Doncic married his high school sweetheart, like back from Slovenia. They have 2 kids. Looks like they're having issues. I don't know if it's a divorce or custody, but she did take his kids back to Slovenia, and right now he's trying to fight that and get that back. So it's a developing story, but right now during this span of time where Luca has not been with his wife, he's been like absolutely tearing it up on the basketball court and calling him child support Luca. And even Anthony Edwards commented like on one of his posts saying, "You and me are in the same club," and he's like, "What club?" And it's like baby mamas and child support or something. It's like,
It's a
okay.
great club right there.
I was like, I don't know about that, but no, I mean he is playing out of his mind right now, and I mean he just not missed anything from three against the Rockets that last game. Um, so I think it's mostly, if anything, this is I just hope everything is resolved with his family. I think family is the most important thing, that matters most. But on the Lakers side of things. We really got it going, and we're. It seems like something's clicking, something's working, and this is good momentum to have going into the postseason. If we're able to kind of stay the third seed, that's great because then we don't have to worry about OKC or the Spurs. But we'll talk about seeding actually right now. Shall we transition, or do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was just reading while you were talking about it.
Yeah, it's. I've been seeing a lot of different. I don't know exactly. Apparently he's been already going out with a different actress. I'm
Apparently
like,
they're engaged, not married.
oh, they weren't married. Okay.
But yeah, she's they're doing a custody battle, and she's asking for child support payments. I don't know. I don't know. That's a lot. I don't want to get into all that. But look at him having the season he's having with all that going on.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, it really goes to show, it doesn't life doesn't stop, you still got to go do your job and things like that. So,
For sure.
but I hope that everything works out with that's most important. Hope things work out with all family.
But yeah, let's talk about the standings and how we think they're going to shake up as we go throughout the season.
Let
So,
us.
I'll talk about my process here. Basically, I looked at the current standings, and I looked at each team's remaining schedule, and then I looked at this link that I sent you, which was the strength of that remaining schedule based on the winning percentages of the opposing teams they'll face down the stretch. And then I also thought about things that you're not going to see on the box score, like momentum. How has a team been doing the last 10 games compared to how their last season, how the whole
Mm,
season going? What kind of injuries do they have going on in that locker room right now that may affect them down the stretch? How far behind are they? Because some of these is like, yeah, this team's schedule's harder, but they're 5 games behind. I don't think the difference gonna be that stark. But then we have situations like from the 5 to the 10 seed in the East is a 2 game difference. So a little bit of momentum could have a big impact there for a team or two. So that's kind of how I did it. Do you have anything different that you want to add to your process?
that's exactly what I did. And I mostly started from the bottom because
Me too.
every conference has a pretty clear divide between three sections, which I feel like usually doesn't happen. So this is a pretty interesting
Yeah.
season for that. So I started with the bottom, moved some things around maybe, and then kind of went from there. Then I checked the schedules, but the mostly that was my process first, and
Hmm.
then checking the schedule and like the strength and who else they're playing. And also winning streaks too was also I was looking at momentum and who's doing well. So very similar process. Do you have a preference, East or West? How do you want to do
That's what
this?
that's what I was gonna say. Or that's what I was gonna ask. I think that the East is probably like the least interesting one.
Let's
I
do
mean,
it.
they're both interesting though. They both have sections that I think are interesting. But
Yeah,
I think let's start with the East. What I'll do first is just recant what the current standings are, and won't go through the records, but just so people know where things currently stand at
yeah.
this time, March 19th in the evening. I pulled the standings this morning, but here they are. Um, Pacers are at the 15th seed, Wizards at 14, Nets at 13, Bulls at 12, Bucks at 11. Then in the play-in, we have the Hornets at 10, Sixers at 9, Heat at 8, Magic at 7. Then top six, we have the Hawks, Raptors, Cavs, Knicks at 3, Celtics at 2, Pistons at 1. So that is where we currently stand. Um, and the records are all, varying degrees of wins and losses, some closer than others. But how did we think it was going to shake out at the end of the season? Dom, do you want to start from the bottom and we kind of do how we do our beginning of season standing predictions?
Yeah, I don't know if we even need to. I think by section almost
Okay.
feels. I think that just because team by team, like, what am I gonna, and I think it kind of we can kind of talk about
So
what
so
we
this
kind of moved
bottom
around.
section would be Pacers, Wizards, Nets, who are clearly
Correct.
they're 10 plus games away from the
Yes.
next level. So how did you have them finishing this out?
So I had them finishing exactly where they are right now because I looked at their schedule, looked at the difficulty. Pacers have the second hardest schedule left in the association. Wizards also are playing quite a few really good teams. I don't think it's as tough for them, but they are the Wizards. They're on a 14 game losing streak. Oh, they're ninth hardest. So like,
Yeah,
in that
Pacers
percentile.
losers of a Losers of 15 in a row. So
Yeah, and I don't see any of that changing. And then I see the Nets, they can be a bit more competitive than the other two. And I feel like the Pacers have given up because they were more competitive, but now they kind of just so I see just Pacers, Wizards, Nets. That's what I have for the
15,
bottom three.
14, 13. I have the
Yeah.
same exact three in that order as well. You said Wizards ninth. I have them 14th from what I'm looking at. In terms of strength of schedule and how hard it is, ninth the Pistons, unless that's changed since I opened this page.
I'm looking
Um,
at the website. It says ninth, but I mean, is that what S? No,
um,
I
the
think
Nets
I'm
have
right.
the easiest remaining schedule in the league, so I think having them above the Pacers and Wizards makes sense to me.
Wait, are we reading the thing? Anyways, never mind. Just keep going. Um, I was looking at, yeah, it seems like, anyways, it's all good.
Okay. Um, yeah, those are the bottom feeders for show.
Yeah.
Let's look at, I would say the next section for me is going to be these 12 and 11 seeds.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like that's different than the rest of the play-in. Do you agree with that?
Oh, totally.
Okay, so my 12 seed, I actually do have the Bucks. Despite being right now 28 and 40, the Bulls are 28-42. I think the Bucks are gonna try to do their best to not let Giannis play, and I think that if that happens, they are just going to lose everything because without Giannis, they're a horrible, horrible team. And the Bulls are fine. Like, they're not great. They're actually right next to each other on what I'm looking at in terms of strength of schedule 22nd, 23rd. Bucks 22nd, Bulls 23rd. So pretty even down the stretch. I just think the Bucks, with Giannis being out, are going to lose more. And we'll finish a little behind the Bulls because it's such like the Bulls to finish with the 11 seed outside of the play-in, but also not tank.
Yeah, I had the exact same thing as you because I agreed, especially seeing, with Giannis being out and the schedule and Bulls always seemingly try to play for things when they don't need to. So the most Bulls thing ever to be like the 11th seed. So I think that makes perfect sense. We are aligned so far. Now this is
We
where
are
it gets
aligned.
interesting. Now this is where it gets interesting.
Okay. I would say
So,
real quick for these bottom five seeds, only one I have correctly placed. I'm looking also at my beginning of season predicting standings, and that's the
um,
the Wizards. The Wizards at 14. Nailing that one.
nailed it, nailed it.
But I had the Raptors and the Hornets down here, and it's not looking it's not looking good. And then I had the
Yeah.
Nets at 15th. So yeah.
Oh man, the 13, so close.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you want to take us through your I guess the play-in? Should we
So
just do
I'm
the
thinking
play-in
the
or all the
thing
way up to
is,
five?
I'm thinking five. I because like
Okay,
the thing is, there's a lot of so we got
it's a tight
there's
race.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5 are all in between like 4 games, which I think is totally doable.
Oh, for sure.
So
That's so fair. Yeah, let's hear it.
I think firstly, I think the Sixers slip. I think the Sixers
Okay.
slip down from 9 to 10. I think they make it into the play-in because they're better than Bulls and Bucks, but Sixers,
They just
I mean,
also have such a game difference on those teams. Like the play-in is basically set in terms of what like who the top 10 is set, I should say, not the play-in because 5 and 6
correct.
are in question, but
Yeah.
the bottom 5 teams are so far out of it. It's not a chance.
Yeah, I think Sixers slip because of Maxi's injury. Embiid has also been kind of in and out, and when he's back, he's not there. Paul George isn't
Still
playing,
suspended.
still suspended. So VJ Edgecombe is like doing really well, and like I'm like they're
Fine out
staying
here.
afloat, but I think they slipped down to 10.
Okay.
And then I just have them. I have them flipped. I have the Hornets at 9. So I know the Hornets
Okay.
they were hot for a while, kind of cooled off. They're on a 2-game win streak. I just think I kind of believe in the other teams a little bit more, but I think it's going to be good for the Hornets to be in the play-in. And then once they are there, do I think they make the playoffs? I think it's totally possible, but that's a different pod. We're not doing that right now. And then I have um, somehow the Heat find a way. So I have the Heat up to 7 and the Magic back down to 8. and then I have Raptors 6 and Hawks 5 because the Hawks are right now on an 11 game win streak. They have the sixth easiest schedule, what I was looking at, and I'm like, I think they can kind of
The rest of the
coast.
way,
Yeah,
fifth hardest. I think you may have
no.
been looking at it the wrong way.
So here we go. Wait, here are the Hawks. It is the sixth hardest. It sure is. Um, Wait, okay, now it's changing on me. Anyways, um, I think I think they're hot. I think they're hot. I think they're gonna
They're
stay hot.
hot.
They're so hot right now.
Here,
Um,
do you want to, I mean, if you want to slide things around a little bit, I can talk about my 9 and 10 while you do that. You don't have to. I'm just saying if you need
oh,
like a second to.
I'm not. I'm gonna leave it as
Okay.
is.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think the Raptors stay. Oh, did I say Raptors 5 or Hawks 6?
You said Hawks 5, Raptors 6.
Oh, okay. I meant Raptors. I have Raptors 5, Hawks 6. So I guess
Okay.
that's where they are right now. Um, yeah, that's what I did. I moved the Magic down a little bit because I don't know, they're 3 game losing streak. They're like feel like their heart's in it. Heat always find a way. So
Hmm.
benefit of a doubt. That's where I'm at.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple differences. I have the Sixers at 10 as well. I think the Maxey injury, they've been sliding. They were like locked into 5 at one point and just started this slide and have been going down as guys continue to miss time. And Maxey's been their best player easily all season. So without him for the next couple of weeks, I think it's going to be hard for them. I have the Hornets at 9 as well. I think they have been hot. They're not quite as hot as they were. I just don't think that they're gonna kind of fly into the rest of the postseason on fire. Um, and right now they have the 12th hardest schedule remaining, so that leaves a little doubt that this kind of run will continue at least enough to jump other teams. But I do think they'll jump the 76ers. I actually have the Hawks at 8th. So the Hawks are sixth right now. I have them sliding on an 11 game win streak. But if you look at the win streak, it's like 2 wins over the Nets, 2 wins over the Wizards. We had the Pacers, we had the Jazz, we had the Mavericks. It's a very very easy 11 game win streak. It's there are a couple good ones in there, but a lot of it is Mickey Mouse like, so to speak. And with the remainder of their schedule, they play the Pistons, Celtics twice, Knicks, Cavs twice, Rockets, Magic. All left to go down the stretch here, so I think it's going to be tough for them. Then I have the Heat at 7, really just by virtue of not beating the Hawks with the schedule they have left. The Heat kind of end up there. They're only a half a game difference right now, so their schedule is a little easier, which ends up with Orlando at 6. I think they have been playing weirdly enough now that Franz is out there playing better. When Paolo is out there playing better. Now when Franz is out there playing better. When both of them are there, they don't play great. But when one of them's out, they seem to figure it out. And despite the 3 game losing streak at the moment, I was seeing some good stuff from them before. So I think right now they're tied with the Hawks for the 6th seed. Hawks have a really hard schedule. Magic, hopefully, for my sake, can pull out on top, leaving the Raptors just sitting at the 5th seed. I think they've, I don't really believe in their team on paper when I look at them, but in terms of like how their team has looked all season, I feel like they've looked better than all these teams on a consistent basis. Um, and yeah, you're flashing the shirt right now, and I think they'll be able to just hold on to that top 5 position.
Yeah, total makes total sense. All this sliding, slipping around. But yeah, we don't see any. It's so funny. All these teams that we were talking, they stay in there. None of them jump up because like
Yeah.
Cavaliers are only like 3 games ahead of the Raptors, but we're like, no,
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 yeah, I
no.
the top 4 feels like a little bit of a different beast for me.
Do you? Okay, so I guess we've been doing where I go first. I guess I'll do the top four, and then West, you'll go first, and I'll tell you the difference because I'll just finish up.
I went first on 12 and 11.
Oh yeah, you did. Never mind. So you should go first now for four through
Sure.
one.
Yeah, let's do my top 4. So, I do have the Cavs just sitting at 4. I don't have them going up at all in the standings, despite having the second easiest schedule the rest of the way. So maybe that's an error on my part. I just feel like in terms of talent, they have looked good with Harden, but they just don't feel like kind of the same level as these top 3. And they're a couple games behind the Knicks and Celtics, and then they're way behind the Pistons. I don't think there's any chance they would catch them. Um, and then I actually have Boston sliding the three. Boston's currently the second seed. I have them sliding the three. Sixth hardest schedule remaining. Um, Thunder, Knicks, Wolves, Raptors, Magic. Two games against the Hawks, which is kind of whatever. Um, so I have them sliding a little bit. Also because I think the Knicks, the rest of the way, have also a pretty good looking schedule. Um, and have some momentum. They're playing well right now. They're on a 4 game win streak, and there's only a 2 game or 1.5 game difference between the two teams. So I think the Knicks could take that number 2 seed over, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics end up the 2 seed either. And then I have the Pistons staying at the 1 seed. They are in the top 10 for hardest schedules left, but I do 2 of those games are against the Timberwolves, who don't have Anthony Edwards at the moment. So despite the hard-looking schedule based on opponent winning percentage, I think some of these teams, when they happen to play against them, may be down some guys. So I think they have enough of a lead to 4 games where I think they'll just hold on to that 1 seed.
Okay. I get makes total sense. I'm a little different. Mine's a little different.
Yeah,
I gotta be,
yeah,
cause I got, you know me, I gotta go a little crazy.
yeah,
So I had
yeah, sure.
I got the Cavaliers four. We can
Okay.
agree on that for sure, for sure. I think they just want to make it into the postseason. Then from there, they'll figure out they got some injuries, whatever. Knicks, I have three.
Yeah,
They're on a win streak, but I think at some point they're also going to be like, we feel good about this at three. We're not trying. We don't have to like really push for two or one. I have the Pistons sliding down to two
oh wow.
because of the Cade's injury. I know they play well without Cade. I just feel like it's hard to close out the season when you've done so
Yeah,
well. And there's a lot of good, like teams that I think are kind of good that they're playing against that they could lose to. I mean, they are playing Thunder, Lakers, Timberwolves twice, like you said, without like Anthony Edwards. But then like randomly, like they're playing the Warriors. Warriors could win a game. The
hmm,
Pelicans have surprisingly beat someone recently. I remember like not believing that. So like I could see it just wrong person rests, they slide down. Um,
yeah.
and Celtics won because they always they find a way. I hate it. I hate
Celtics
it. I
find a
hate
way.
it. And Tatum's back. Maybe he just wants to I know they got a tough schedule. But a lot of these teams, like I could see them like Thunder, like they could win that game because the Thunder like might just rest people. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah,
Timberwolves. Timberwolves, Ants is out. Raptors, they could beat the Raptors. They could beat the Magic. They could beat the Heat. They could beat the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, Bucks. I'm like, they could just do it. They could do the
yeah.
thing. So I would hate to see that, obviously, because Pistons number one. Shout out Jared. I want that for Detroit. Detroit basketball deserves it. Just a little bit harder to see that now with Cade's injury.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't even really think about the Cade thing that much. It's a good point. I think the 4 games for me just feels like
It's a
a
lot.
nice hold. And the Celtics on a 3 game win streak, but it's against the Wizards, the Suns, and the Warriors without Steph. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
None of those feel incredibly convincing. Honestly, if I like were to maybe change anything, I would maybe put the Cavs a little higher because their schedule is so easy down the stretch, but it's tough. It's tough. It doesn't actually matter also. Um,
Yeah.
let's talk about the West, shall we?
Let's do it. So I go first? Or is that what we did last time?
That is what we did last time.
So you go. So you go.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
I'll go first. I would
So
say for me, it's the bottom 5 are kind of
yeah.
all a group. Everything outside of the play-ins in terms of the teams that will be there seem pretty set in stone. Okay, and a little reminder for the Western Conference we haven't done. You want to do the Western Conference
Yeah.
standings? I haven't done. I did the Eastern one. So if you want to go from 15 to 1.
Yeah, let's do it. So, starting from the bottom, the Western Conference at 15, right now, March 19th, we have Sacramento Kings, Utah Jazz, Dallas Mavericks, Pelicans, and then the Grizzlies. At the 10th seed in the play in right now, we have the Warriors, Blazers, Clippers, and then the Suns. And then the top six in the West right now, starting with number six, are the Nuggets, Rockets, Timberwolves, Lakers, Spurs, Thunder.
Yeah, and these groups seem a little more cut and dry than maybe the other ones. So here's how I have mine wrapping up. Um, I have the Jazz falling from 14 to 15 because I think the Jazz are going to do their best to lose every possible game they can, as they've shown all season, despite their already kind of tough schedule. And I just think they will pull the strings to make it happen. I don't think the Kings tried to lose necessarily. I just think they are bad. Um, and that leaves me with the Kings at 14 because right now they are 5 games behind the 13 seeded Dallas Mavericks. 5 games is a lot. I don't think there's any chance they win 5 more games than the Mavericks for the rest of the season. So I have the just them and the Jazz switching places. So Jazz at 15, Kings at 14. I do have the Mavericks sticking at 13 because I think the Mavericks aren't necessarily trying to do anything. I think they want. I think this may be like the one of the only years they control their pick for the foreseeable future. I think they want that pick. Fourth hardest schedule also, so I think they're going to be losing a lot down the stretch. Pelicans at 12, I actually have them jumping up to 11. I have the Grizzlies falling to 12. The Grizzlies, the hardest schedule remaining in the league, despite the fact that they're already not a great basketball team. And they seem to also be kind of sitting guys here and there, not really playing their full rotation, their full lineup. So I feel like the Grizzlies will fall to 12. The Pelicans, despite having the third hardest schedule, jumping up to 11 because they've actually been playing well as of late. And I can continue to see that happening, especially with the teams around them really not playing for much. And, it kind of seems like a pride thing more than anything for the Pelicans at this point. So, again, I have Jazz 15, Kings 14, Mavs 13, Grizzlies 12, Pelicans 11th.
Gotcha. Similar, but a little different. Um, I had the Kings just ending at 50. I was like, they're just gonna be the worst team.
Yeah, yeah,
I can see the Jazz thing. I think the NBA is kind of watching them to make sure they're not like they're gonna get fined if they sit, people who are healthy out and all this stuff. So like I feel like they'll try to, but it'll just end up kind of them being, neck and neck, but be 14th. And then I actually have the Grizzlies slipping down to 13 because
Oh
of how
wow,
difficult that schedule is and how
yeah,
they're not really playing to win or anything. And then I have the Mavericks sliding up to 12 and then the Pelicans at 11. So
okay,
we had a little bit of same, but same reasons why I had the Grizzlies slip is as you were saying. They're not playing some people for reasons, and they also have a
hmm
really tough schedule. And people on the schedule that they're playing against are gonna really, really, really try to beat them because that's just a gimme game, and they're probably gonna try to,
right. They're trying to
proceeding. Yeah,
well position themselves in the seedings. So
absolutely. So that is what I have. Playing time.
yeah, I would say the play-in feels like its own category.
So just 7 through 10.
Yeah, for me at least.
Um, yeah,
There's an argument
actually,
that the
yeah,
Suns could
yeah.
be in the top as well, and you just do 8, 9, 10 here. But
No, no, I was thinking about it and I was like they kind of got the injury bug. So
hmm
when I was looking about it, I don't think so. So I shall do the play in.
hmm
So tell you what I got. Okay, so for the play in, I have um did I do this right? Okay, I did. Yeah, so number 10, I still have the Warriors at 10. Steph is
okay.
out. I don't know when he'll be
Missed
back. I don't know
missed the
what his
last 20
timeline.
games, I think.
Yeah, I
So
don't know what his timeline is. So I really wanted to put the Clippers there because they're really not playing for anything. But Darius Garland's back, and like they're kind of playing like competitive basketball. So I was
yeah,
like, Clippers at 9 sounds good. And I have the Blazers going up to 8
okay,
because I would feel comfortable putting them at 7. But the thing is, they are 5 games behind the Suns, and the
yeah.
Blazers. I feel pretty good about, and I want to see them in the playoffs. It'd be really cool. They haven't been there in a while, and I have Suns at 7, just because they were able to get a lot of wins under their belt, and now they just kind of need to get into the play-in. I don't know if Dylan Brooks will be back. Um, Devin Booker was out. Is he back? I think he's back, right?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
So
out for a little bit there.
so I think they're pretty. I don't think anyone else is going to slip down into 7. I don't think the Suns are
Sure.
going to play good enough to get up there. So I think that's what I got for the play-in.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. So much sense because I have the same exact four in the same exact position. Warriors at 10, Clippers at 9, Blazers at 8, Suns at 7. Yeah, I think the Warriors without Steph, I mean, they're 2 and 8 in their last 10. They just have not looked good without him. So I don't foresee them, suddenly turning that around unless he returns. I like the Blazers a little bit more than the Clippers. Blazers third easiest schedule the rest of the way. They've been playing better as of late. Drew has looked really good for them all season, but some of the young guys are kind of starting to come along. Denny's still looking pretty good. Donovan Clingan's holding down the front court, etc. And the Clippers, I don't know what's going on with them because I feel like, I mean, what's going on with them is they traded James Harden and their team fell apart. They don't know what they're doing anymore. They don't have that guy, the system guy, James Harden, to run the offense. Darius Garland, obviously a good playmaker, but still getting acclimated, didn't even play for a while. So he's kind of just suiting up, and yeah, they're just kind of falling off.
But Kawhi is killing it. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, he's having a great season for sure.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I think ultimately I had the Suns at 7 just by virtue of they're enough ahead that they don't end up falling, but I don't think they're even remotely good enough or have a good schedule or whatever that they will jump into the top 6. So it feels like 7 is like I can lock it in right now for the rest of the season. They're not going to move.
Yeah, and I think they're okay with that. Because I mean, if I looked
We
at
had him
my,
at 14.
yeah, we were down.
I
We
had
were
him. I
down.
thought we both had him at
I
14,
I
right?
had him like at 12. It was like
Okay.
close. It was it
I
was
had him at
it was
14.
it
So
was
yeah.
bad for sure. It was bad. But yeah, we got our top six. Would you? I mean, I guess let's say 3 through 6 is the next section, and then 1 and 2 is kind of, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we
I
could probably do
agree.
them all together. I mean, this is close enough, but unless
Um,
you, unless there's some debate. Never mind. Never mind. Let's do 3 through 6.
let's do 3 through 6. 3 through 6 is probably maybe the hardest part of this whole exercise. I mean, I what was that big section we had? 5 through 10 and the East was pretty tough, but 3 through 6 was also pretty tough. And I would not be surprised if I was totally wrong because I we're all so close. So for the listener, the Lakers are third, 45 and 25. The Nuggets are sixth, 42 and 28. That's a 3 game difference between these 4 seeds right here. So a lot can change down the stretch. At the 6th spot, much to our chagrin, I have the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards' injury is going to bug me. I think their offense is going to really miss him. Their schedule 10th hardest. The rest of the way they got to play the Pistons twice, the Celtics, the Rockets twice. Magic, Sixers, Hornets are like their toughest games left, but they do have some easy ones. They have a Pacers, Mavericks, Pelicans, Blazers, not necessarily easy. It may look like that on the record, but they are playing kind of above their skis. So I do have the Wolves falling to 6 here. And then I have the Nuggets going up to the 5th seed. Nuggets have been uh, wonky for a while now. Ever since I gave them 25% of my championship pie. They really have been letting me down. Getting injured, a lot of injuries going on in that locker room. Just haven't kind of had their full arsenal all season, and it showed when they played. Um, and I think that they're kind of still just figuring it out, still just trying to. I think they're just trying to get to the playoffs at this point, really.
Hmm.
They still have to play the Thunder once and the Spurs twice, so they have 3 huge games coming up down the stretch here. Then I have my Houston Rockets at the 4 seed. Really because our schedule is easier than a lot of other teams. So we're 24th hardest, which means one, two, three, four, five, fifth, sixth easiest down the stretch. Our hardest games are the Knicks, the Wolves twice, the Suns, the Hawks, the Heat, the Sixers. We also have the Jazz, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies twice, the Bulls, Bucks, and Warriors. So we have a pretty good schedule here down the stretch. And when these games are so close, just 2 games apart, really, for the Rockets and the rest of the competition, I feel like hopefully maybe we can pull out on top on the 4 seed. But I do think the Lakers have not safely, but established themselves as a comfortable 3 seed. Yes, they're on this huge win streak right now, and their schedule is still pretty easy for the remainder of the season compared to other teams. I just think they're playing so well right now, and the Nuggets and Wolves are kind of both going through some injury woes. And the Rockets, like I mentioned, their offense is not very good. I just don't see a reason for the Lakers to not finish at the three seed at this point.
Yeah. Thank you. Uh, why do I feel like when anyone compliments the Lakers, I'm like, that's a personal compliment. Thank you.
Especially me, because I feel like I'm such a hater all the time. Such a hater.
Yeah, yeah, man, it's okay. It's all good. It's all love. Um, so I have exactly how the standings are right now is where I kept it, and I'll say why.
Okay.
So Nuggets, they have been wonky, and when I've been watching them, just like something seems off with the chemistry too, and they don't have uh, I think it's like 14th hard. I'm trying to understand. They're
13th
basically they're playing
hardest,
the
yeah.
13th hardest. Yeah, so they still got like got to play the Spurs twice, the Thunder. They are playing the Suns, but then there's like teams like the Warriors. They're playing the Blazers twice, and like the Blazers, I'm sure wanted to try to win those games. So it's like kind of see they're playing teams. I think even though it's considered easy because of record, I'm like they're going to be competitive and tough to win. Um, yeah, and it's like yeah, it just seems something's off with the Nuggets, and probably the injury stuff. In fact, they couldn't really build that chemistry that they had because they hadn't played as much this year as they had in previous years. And of course, it happens after I'm like, I think they're my favorites to win it all. Whatever, whatever, man. I had the Rockets still at five because a lot of what you were saying earlier, just about, and I still trust them as a team. They have Kevin Durant. They have very good players and pretty comfortable. I feel safe with them being there, and like they're playing Timberwolves twice. They could win those, but then they could lose to the Warriors. They could lose to the Pelicans. They almost already did. So it's like kind of see it just for a lot of these teams kind of staying where they are. Wolves at four, even though Anthony Edwards is out, they can play really well without him, and they've been able to win games without him. Julius Randle playing super well. Dante DiVincenzo surprisingly like being a real part of the team. Naz Reid off the bench. So like and it's only a week or two. I feel like they're not going to let it slip too much out of the reach. And Lakers at three because even though our schedule, it's like we're right in the middle of the pack. So I see us like we're playing the Thunder twice, probably going to lose those. But we're seeing the Pistons without Cade will win. Cavaliers, Suns we can win, and I'm like, and I just kind of see that kind of sitting nice where we are with the three seed. So
Yeah.
not too much
No.
like flipped around.
Yeah, it's all so close and can change on a moment's notice, but we'll definitely see. You said there is potentially some debate at this top two, only a three-game difference between the Spurs at the two seed and the Thunder at the one seed. So, Dom, how do you have them finishing out this season?
I have the Spurs as the second seed and the Thunder as the first seed. I don't know if you have it differently, but I was like, oh, I guess it is kind of close, closer than I like remembered it being. And I know the
Yeah.
Spurs. I think the Spurs play the Thunder one more time
No,
before this.
I think
They
they're
already played
done.
their. Okay, they're done. Yeah, I see that. But there's like a little rivalry going on because like the only team that the
They
Thunder
have
like
their
really
number.
couldn't beat, yeah, was like the Spurs. So, um, I kind of just see it kind of ending up that way. Thunder have like pretty tough schedule ahead, but I'm not worried about them because they are so far ahead. And then
They're the
this
best team in the league. So,
they're the best team in the league. And then Spurs have some games I could see them like slipping, even though it's like fifth, sixth easiest.
fourth easiest.
See, dude, I look, we're so close. Like I have them right now 25. Like it's something's off.
I can't see that.
I know you can't see
My
that,
thing says
but
27. Yeah.
I
Um,
have Clippers at 27, but it's like everything you're saying is exactly the same. It's just things are like
That's just a little off, yeah. So mine
it's
says
weird.
Spurs have the fourth easiest, Thunder the seventh hardest. But I do have the Spurs at the two seed and the Thunder still at the one seed. Three-game
Yeah.
difference is a lot at this point in the season. It's not insurmountable. But I think despite the Thunder having a harder schedule, they are the Thunder. They're the one seed to this point. Them having a harder schedule doesn't really matter because they are the best team in the league, basically.
Yeah.
Um, and the Spurs are right behind them, though. And the Spurs, I mean, their hard games, quote unquote, are the Nuggets, who I feel like are struggling right now. The Heat, the Sixers, obviously winnable. And then they have Pacers, Mavs, Grizzlies, Bulls, Bucks, Warriors. I could literally see them winning all those games.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if the Thunder do happen to fall off, the Spurs could overtake them. And I don't see that happening, which is why I still have the Thunder as the one seed. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. Like you said, it feels closer than I would have thought at this point, considering how dominant the Thunder's start to the season was.
Yeah, like if you would have asked me how far ahead are the Thunder from the Spurs, I probably would have guessed like 7 or 6 games. Not
Hmm.
three for sure, but Spurs are good. Crazy. We'll see how they do in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, we will. And that's how we think these regular season gonna wrap up. We'll see. Um, what are we gonna talk about next time? I don't know.
Oh, beats me.
All defense teams. We maybe we'll do those.
Yeah,
Start getting some of these other ones in, so we don't have to do them all in one episode.
yeah, sounds
Um,
about right.
but that 65 game rule creeps in. It creeps in and creeps in.
So interesting. I'm like hot and cold on it. Some days I
Hmm.
like it, some days I don't. Like today I don't because I'm like Cade deserves it, but I'm like if he doesn't cut it, like I'm like that's messed up just because he missed like the last 4 games off this like incredible season. So, you know.
Yeah,
Not all
we'll
defense, I should
see.
say. I mean like all NBA, like any award.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
obviously he deserves something. But yeah,
Next time
just
we'll talk about the 10 teams not making the playoffs and their futures. Maybe that's
ooh, that's actually a pretty good one. Like what they
yeah,
should do.
right.
That'd be kind of cool. I like that idea. Let's remember that. Let's remember that.
I'll forget it.
Ah,
But you
okay.
won't because you'll go back and listen to the episode and you'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I sure do. I love listening to them. Is that okay? Hey, if you're a podcaster out there, let us know. Do you listen to your podcast too?
Dude, listen to your own
Do
podcast.
you? Do you listen to your own podcast?
You're also a musician. You probably do you listen to your own music?
I have to when we're mixing and stuff. I like if it's already out and released, like I don't listen to it
Yeah.
really.
You're not jamming Ugly Side Up in the car when you're
No.
driving
Some
places.
if we have a gig, then I'll play a song. So like, what were the lyrics? Like just to like get that, but I'm not just jamming. Like,
I
I
see.
mean I've played them a million times at this point, and just kind of stuck
Sure.
in my, you know what I mean. So,
That's
we
fair.
shall see. Yeah, Damien, gotta take the shot. Come on, man.
Ever since I turned around, I've been a legend at this.
Yeah, I know you're gonna sink this one easy.
No, I
Oh,
fucking miss.
just barely,
God
man.
damn it.
Just because you said that is why you.
I immediately
I've been a
changed it
legend
myself.
at this.
This
I
this is
can't beat.
this is my Bam Adebayo impression. That's just
And
getting
that's me
layups in
passing the ball. There you
transition.
go. Nice. But yeah, thanks again, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Is our seating wrong? Are we perfect? Are we right? What do you guys think? Um, we appreciate you listening. We'll catch you next time on Two Man Game with Damon and Dom.
Fuck it.